All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Rams and why this team is so much better than people actually think. Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, they have 13 different offensive line combinations last season. That broke an NFL record, and that is not the NFL record that you want to break. This team was completely injured this past season, and that is simply put. How can the Rams be good this upcoming season? If they're healthy. It's as simple as that. I think the current narrative with the Rams is that because they were so injured and they started the season off, a little hot and cold, and then the injuries started to pile up. So they traded away some of their star veteran talent or past star talent that was from the Super Bowl roster. And so people are thinking, okay, they had double-digit rookie draft picks. They're an extremely young team, right? It's so unproven, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's what people don't really realize about the Los Angeles Rams. There's only projected 3 rookie starters. So yeah, they had 14 rookies selected in this past year's draft class. A couple of these guys are starting. Avia, Young, Colby Turner's currently listed as a joint starter with Bobby Brown. They're not that young, where it's like they're not relying on 7 rookies on the defensive side to be their starters. That's not the case. There's a lot of talent on this roster. And like I said, it's hard for me to really look at last year, first off, because of the injuries, but also because, we could go back to like the Super Bowl victory. I don't think previous Rams seasons should be accounted for when projecting this current upcoming season, right? So I think the Rams are so much better than people give them credit to. They're one of those they're one of the few teams in the league. They might be the only team in the league where you could have an argument with somebody or a debate with somebody and say, I think the Rams will win four games. I think the Rams will win 14 games. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams won 4 games. The Rams won 14 games. If they're gonna be injured, if they're gonna face these injuries like they did last season, which I don't see happening because, like I said, they got injured at a historic rate, then yeah, maybe they won't be a great team. But if they're healthy, they're going to win because Matthew Stafford's going to put up a bunch of numbers. They have their guy on the defensive line, the best guy, Aaron Donald, the best defensive player you could ask for on your defensive line. You have a already established star linebacker, right? Ernest Jones, an extremely young defensive secondary that has actually had some solid seasons. Jordan Fuller, a healthy Jordan Fuller, sign me up. Colby Durant, healthy Colby Durant, 3 interceptions in his rookie season. Yeah, I'm going to take that. That works for me. This team's a lot better than people give them credit for, and we're going to talk about that in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I do post at least one Rams video every single week. So Rams fans, if you could try and get this video to 250 likes, that would mean the world to me. So I just had to get that off my chest that, so many people are thinking that this team is just too young. Now, there is young talent. Those 2 guys we just mentioned, right? Jordan Fuller, Colby Durant. Offensively, I want to talk about Tutu Atwell, because Tutu Atwell is currently listed as a starter right now. All right. Tutu through camp, we're only 2 weeks in through training camp, and we want to see live reps. But Tutu had, as bad as the Rams offense was last season with all the inconsistencies, Tutu Atwell in his rookie season, 18 catches, 298 yards. Sorry, sophomore campaign, first season he really played. Right, first season he actually played. 18 catches, 298 yards. That doesn't sound too crazy. 16.6 yards per catch. So he's a playmaker. He's a stud. He did it in college. You have Cooper Kupp. You have Cam Akers. Cam Akers, one of those guys I really want to stay healthy. Like a lot of these Rams, like honestly, any player on any football team. But we take a look at this wide receiver room. Matthew Stafford has a bunch of targets, man. He has so many targets. Cooper Kupp. A healthy Cooper Kupp is one of, if not the best wide receiver in the National Football League. And I think people kind of actually, outside of Rams fans, I think people completely forgot about Cooper this past season. Keep in mind, he played 9 games. He had 812 yards. Players who have been in this league for, think of a wide receiver 2 on any team. Cooper Kupp outperformed them and played half of a season. Okay. 2 years ago, Cooper Kupp, the legendary season, 145 catches, almost 2,000 yards, and 16 touchdowns. Like, he hasn't gone anywhere. It's not like Cooper Kupp is 34 years old. Cooper Kupp just turned 30. He turned 30 this past summer. He's perfectly in his prime, and I'm not concerned with long-term injuries with Cooper Kupp. He's only had, what, 2 in his, how many years has been in the league, 7 or 8? Moving on down. Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson last season, I love my Florida products. This past year, right? We're not really looking into statistics for last season. He was injured. However, he averaged 15.4 yards per catch. We go back to the Super Bowl season when he was healthy, 50 catches, 802 yards, 6 touchdowns. He averaged 16 yards per catch. This is your wide receiver 2. That's wide receiver 2. Okay? Van Jefferson is ready for a breakout campaign. And like, the reoccurring theme with this Rams team, if he can stay healthy, this dude is a stud. Rams fans are perfectly aware of this. Now, I finally want to touch up on one player that was just recently signed by the Los Angeles Rams, and that's John Johnson III. Now, currently on the depth chart, he's listed as the backup to Russ Yeast. To me, that is only just because they want him to earn his spot, right? I am going forward with John Johnson III being your starting safety. This is a really good football player. He had a down year with Cleveland. However, if you look at the stats, I mean, this is a really talented football player. Former Rams fans know him. 101 tackles this past season for a safety. I'm going to take that. 2 forced fumbles and an interception. But if we go back to the previous season, he had 3 interceptions. John Johnson III, a great veteran who, once again, it's not like it's one of these 34, 35-year-old injury-prone players. This is a healthy young player in his prime who is 27 years old. Like I'm saying, the reoccurring theme here is the Rams, if they're healthy, have a really good roster. Really good roster. You have MVP superstar talent. You have players teams would die for, right? Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford. That 3 alone, you could fill out the rest of the roster. Those 3 players on their own are single-handedly going to win you football games. At the end of the day, what's the most important position? It's quarterback. And who's the quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams? It is Super Bowl champion, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Matthew Stafford. And just like Mr. Cooper Kupp, I think Matthew Stafford, I know he's 35 years old, but he's still got plenty of left in that tank. He's 2 seasons removed from throwing almost 5,000 yards, and he threw for 41 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford is still a stud, okay? Rams fans know this, but I understand some of the skepticism, some of the, skepticism isn't the best word, some caution, right? Some Rams fans are being cautious with this upcoming season, and it's simply because of health. If the Rams are healthy, if they're mainly healthy, this team will win at least 7 football games. They will win easily at least 7 football games this upcoming season. Personally, I think if the Rams are healthy, or if they're healthy enough, the Rams will probably win 9 or 10 football games. Okay? They will probably sneak into the playoffs if you win 9 or 10 games in the NFC. When you get into the playoffs, you have as good of a chance as anybody else. Now, preseason hasn't even started. I don't want to jump the gun here. My point is the Rams are a lot better than people think. And I think it just comes down to not really being aware of the situation. So let's make them aware, right? Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. And if you want more Rams videos, let me know down below. But guys, give me a win projection on this team in the comments.